thought he meant 5 minutes.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Sedona International Film Festival. I'm your host, Carol Kahn. We are coming to you live from the Sedona Performing Arts Center and also on Facebook Live. And I am so excited to introduce to you Vickie Sampson. Hello.
Hello, hello.
It's so good to have you back here in Sedona.
It's my favorite place, my favorite festival of all time.
And I hear you're a party animal.
Hardly. I was trying to get out of the party and people want to keep talking, which is good, The parties are such a wonderful part of the Sedona Film Festival because we all get to network and, greet each other and talk about our films, and, you meet filmmakers and you go, oh yeah, I'll come to your film, and you come to mine, and it's just great.
It is really cool. We were just talking right before we got on live, but one of the very interesting things for us is to see filmmakers who come back year after year, and we forge such amazing relationships. And it's really cool because over the year, we become friends on social media, and then we get to see, your lives, and then vice versa. And so it just that connection is just so amazing.
Well, I'll tell you, Facebook is an amazing connecting space because people I met last year at the festival, I friended on Facebook, and we keep up with each other's lives and what's happening, and it feels like you know them on a daily basis. And I do that with famous people. Sometimes I Facebook famous people, and like Garrison Keillor, I'm one of his friends. Prairie Home Companion guy, and he's he's written back to me on a post on Facebook, and it's like I feel like I know him and he knows me. You can know all about my horses and peacocks and grandchildren and film projects and everything. So.
That's awesome.
Vickie Sampson on Facebook. Yeah.
Be her friend. So, your movie, your film.
Movies are our friends.
That's right. Thank you for that. You Drive Me Crazy is the film that we're talking about today. And we do have a clip to show. So we're going to show that clip first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the film.
Great.
Hey, beautiful. What's up?
This is Glenn.
Were you able to leave work early? I told my mom we'd try to be there around 4.
And this is Lucy, his wife. They had no idea that this would be a very important day in their marriage.
I'm sorry, I'm not perfect.
With many twists and turns that will leave Glenn speechless. You Drive Me Crazy. A comedy with consequences.
That is such a funny film and interesting, and it does have twists and turns to it. And one of the things the trailer did not show was the vehicle that he was driving in. And so why don't you just first tell us a little bit about the film, and then we'll get to the vehicle.
Well, the film is written by my co-producer and dear friend Wendy Fishman. And we've collaborated now on 2 projects, Reflections, that was here last year, and You Drive Me Crazy. And the whole concept kind of started as like we were driving in LA going to a screening, and my GPS said, go this way, through this alley and these back roads, and Wendy's like, just go up to Sunset and turn right. That's all you have to do. And then we thought, what if that went to the extreme? Of technology, how technology affects us. And so that's kind of the sub-theme of the film, is like technology taking over in bad ways.
Well, it's really interesting that you say that. So I was with a friend in Colorado, and we were looking for a place, and I was on Google Maps, and I said, hey Siri, where are we? Like, where is this? And all of a sudden, I get this response saying, this isn't Siri, but I know who Siri is.
Whoa.
And then it started talking about, like, roses is red, violets are blue. I mean, it just kept going on, and I was just like, what is happening? So when I saw your film about messaging and talking, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so hilarious as far as that.
It's I call it a comedy with consequences as opposed to a dark comedy, because it has consequences. And yeah,
So part of in the film, you know, the actor is driving the vehicle, and of course he's doing something that he shouldn't be doing. And so the GPS takes over, and then you see the car actually going off, right? And so the first thing that I thought about when I saw that is, how did they do that? Like, this car, I mean, it was a brand new car, and did they crash the car? So what happened?
This is what happened. This is the actual car, and you can see it's all dented, and I threw it over a cliff, and I filmed it with my iPhone in slow motion of the car rolling down like that and hitting, you know, it actually hit my iPhone. But this is the actual car that I used, and it's a 30-second model. What do you call it? A 30-second size model of our actual white Highlander that he drives in the movie. So I like to, when I do the Q&As, I kind of keep it behind my back at the last minute, and I bring it out. I said, yes, I have a very important cast member here today, and here she is, you know. And some people, I asked them at the screening the other night, I said, how many people thought it was a real car? Because people came up to me and like, how did you afford that on your budget, you know, of crashing a car? And I went, you know, this is it. And it was challenging because the film involves green screen. So for those people who don't know what green screen is, it's like if this were green behind us, kind of like the weather people do, you could put anything in its place of the green. Of course, you can't wear green or you'll disappear. So we use a lot of green screen. We shot a lot of the stuff in my driveway, in the car, various angles, and then we had to do a lot of visual effects to get rid of the cameras that we had planted in the car. And we do a lot of GoPro shots, which are the little cameras like you can put on a helmet to go snowboarding or whatever, and biking. And yeah, and then the guy, because I didn't want him to be driving on our curvy mountain roads with no hands. You know, I didn't think that would be very safe. So we did those things, except for the one shot where he goes by, which is on the poster, where his hands are on the windshield, and we picked you know, a nice straight road, and we did that in slow motion, so he was really only doing that for a few seconds.
Awesome.
So
well, you know, one of the things that I really paid attention to in the film, because I know this is your forte, was the sound. I really focused on that. So talk a little bit about the sound production for this movie.
Sure. The sound, so you know, all the GoPros really don't have any usable sound recording capabilities, so all the shots where he's, you know, screeching around corners, all that had to be augmented. And of course the crash, you know, because it's a little car that's crashing, and I want it to sound like a big car, so you know, a lot of glass breaking and metal impacts because it hits rocks and boulders. And I didn't quite get the size, the perspective right, but the whole film was a challenge like that. So, and then when we're driving in the car for real, I was hiding in the back seat with my sound recordist was on the passenger side, leaned way over so that she could, you know, not be in the shots, and capturing all the, you know, good sound. So yeah, and it's amazing once you do green screen. Here you are in a stationary car with no movement, and yet you put the sound of a driving in the car, and you suddenly, and of course the plates, you have to shoot plates, which are the background that replace the green screen. You know, that adds, it makes you feel like you're, you know, in a real car that's moving. Because we were thinking, oh, do we have to like have somebody, you know, bounce the car while it, but we found out it didn't really matter. Once you hear the sound, you believe it, you know.
Right. Yeah, you know, I think all of us, as we're watching films, we don't really think of all the components that go in it, and the only time that you acknowledge anything like that is usually during the Oscars when there's an award for that,
or when it's bad.
Right.
Then you notice it when it's bad.
That's true.
Yeah, that is the power of sound. And yeah, I'm doing a sound workshop tomorrow morning for filmmakers to find out how to get the biggest bang for their sound buck. So that's tomorrow at 10.
Awesome. And tell us about your film. Is it going to be shown again?
It shows tonight at 7. It's in the Block 3 program, the shorts Block 3 at Harkins. So I hope you come in and see it, because it's really fun.
Awesome.
And you know what's so great now is, you know, last year's festival was the last in-person festival that we had for our films as filmmakers. Everything else went virtual for the rest of the year, and now this is the first in-person festival of the year. So it's kind of like these nice bookends that Sedona has provided. And it's also so gratifying as a filmmaker. Oh, my little thing is crooked, you didn't tell me. As a filmmaker, you know, you want to hear an audience's reaction to your film. Like virtual film festivals, I mean, okay, maybe somebody sees it, you don't know how many people see it, you can't interact with them, you can't ask questions, you can't give them answers. But watching it the other day at the first screening, it was so gratifying to hear like the people, they start to titter when they realize the GPS is talking back to them, and they start to twitter a little bit and laugh and giggle. And then as it gets more and more serious, you know, people start freaking out a little bit. Yeah.
Well, it's so good to have you back. I hope you come back again next year, but I'm going to be seeing you anyway over the next couple of days, so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, thank you, and thanks to the Sedona Film Festival for all its wonderfulness.
Thank you.
It's always so wonderful.
Thank you. And we will be back with more from the Sedona International Film Festival after this.